Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we find out if companies are really as healthy as they say they are sometimes. Things look great on the surface, but the deeper you dig, the more problems you find, and today we're digging into Avadel Pharmaceuticals and what looks like a pretty interesting deal. So Avadel Pharmaceuticals has just announced a pretty big licensing agreement for a drug called Valiloxybate. They're getting the rights to develop and sell this drug pretty much worldwide with a few exceptions. This is a pretty standard move in the pharma world, but the numbers involved and what it means for Avadel are what we need to unpack. First off, let's talk about the agreement itself. Avadel is licensing Valiloxybate, which is a type of drug that affects brain chemicals specifically for sleep disorders like narcolepsy and another condition called idiopathic hypersomnia. Basically, they're making a bet on this drug being a good treatment for people who have serious trouble sleeping. The deal is with a company called Pharma Limited, and it's a global deal, meaning Avadel gets to try and sell this everywhere except for mainland China, Hong Kong and Macau. So they're keeping a pretty wide territory. Now, the financial side of this is where it gets really interesting. Avadel is paying Pharma quite a bit for these rights. They've already paid $15 million, and they'll be handing over another $5 million in the final 3 months of this year. But that's just the start. On top of that, Pharma could get up to $30 million more if Avadel hits certain development targets with the drug. Think of these as bonuses for good progress. And then there are the sales bonuses or milestones tied to how well the drug actually sells. This is where the really big money can come into play. Avadel could pay up to $155 million if the drug hits certain sales targets, specifically up to $750 million in annual sales. But wait, there's more. If sales go even higher, above $750 million and up to a massive $3.5 billion, Avadel will pay Pharma an additional 10% of those sales milestones. This structure means Pharma is heavily incentivized to see this drug perform exceptionally well. It's a clear sign that Pharma believes in this drug's potential, and they're making sure they get a piece of the success if it happens. On top of all these upfront and milestone payments, Avadel will also be paying royalties. These are percentages of the drug's sales that go back to Pharma, starting from the high single digits and going up to the mid-teens. This is a continuous payment as long as the drug is selling. And as a final kicker, if the drug gets approved for treating other conditions besides narcolepsy and idiopathic hypersomnia in the US, Avadel will pay another $10 million milestone for each of those new approved uses. So you can see this is a significant investment for Avadel. They are putting a lot of eggs in the Valiloxybate basket. The licensing agreement itself continues until the very last royalty payment is made for the product in any given country, which could mean a long-term relationship if the drug is successful. This means the deal is structured to last as long as the drug is commercially viable and generating sales, which is exactly what you want in a drug licensing deal if you're the buyer. Of course, like any contract, there are ways out. Either company can end the agreement if the other one seriously messes up and doesn't fix it. And Avadel, the company buying the rights, has the option to walk away if they decide to, though they'd probably have to give some notice. This gives them some flexibility if their strategy changes or if the drug development hits unexpected roadblocks. The agreement also covers the usual legal stuff like promises about the information shared, agreements to do certain things, and who pays if something goes wrong, which are all fairly standard in these types of deals. Avadel says they plan to file the full detailed agreement in a future report, so we'll be able to see all the nitty-gritty legal terms then. To go along with this news, on September 3rd, Avadel put out a press release highlighting the deal and how it strengthens their position in the sleep medicine market. That press release is included with this filing, so you can read it for yourself if you want all the details. Now, it's also really important to talk about what they call forward-looking statements. This is a legal section in almost every SEC filing where companies talk about their future expectations. They use words like will, may, expect, and anticipate to talk about what they think will happen. These are essentially their best guesses about the future based on their current knowledge and plans. For Avadel, this includes their expectations about this new licensing deal, like the payments involved and how the drug might perform. But here's the crucial part. They're saying very clearly that these are just expectations, not guarantees. There are lots of risks out there and the actual results could be very different from what they're predicting right now. It's a standard disclaimer, but it's a reminder that the pharma world is full of uncertainty and drug development can be a bumpy road. They point to their other filings like their annual report for more details on the specific risks they face. This implies that there are already known risks associated with their business, and this new deal, while promising, also comes with its own set of potential challenges. Finally, this report tells us what exhibits are included. We've got Exhibit 99.1, which is that press release we just talked about, and Exhibit a whole 4, which is basically the digital filing document itself, formatted so computers can read it easily. And as always, the report is signed off by company officials. In this case, it's Jared G. Suro, the General Counsel and Corporate Secretary, making sure everything is official. The date of the filing is September 3, 2025. So what does all this mean for Avadel? This deal is a significant move that shows they're serious about expanding their offerings in the sleep disorder market. They're making a substantial upfront investment and lining up future payments based on the drug's success. This suggests a strong belief in the drug's potential, but also a willingness to pay to get it. From a Warren Buffett perspective, you'd be looking at this and asking, does Avadel have a solid understanding of the science behind valaloxybate? Do they have a credible plan to develop and market it effectively, especially against any existing treatments? Are the potential returns worth the significant investment and the risks involved? The staggered payments and royalties are designed to mitigate some of the upfront risk for Avadel, linking payments more closely to actual performance. However, the total potential payout is large, and the success hinges entirely on the drug's efficacy, safety, and market adoption. The risk here is clear. If valaloxybate doesn't prove to be a winner in clinical trials or doesn't gain market traction, Avadel will have spent a lot of money for potentially little return. On the other hand, if it's a hit, this licensing deal could be a massive win, propelling their growth and solidifying their position in a specialized but important medical field. It's a high-stakes bet, with the company clearly betting on a successful future for this new drug. What's your take on this licensing deal? Do you think Avadel is making a smart move by investing heavily in valaloxybate, or are the risks too high? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more deep dives into the world of business and finance. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description below for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.